My esteemed friend and cabinet colleague, Shri Mallikarjun Kharge ji, Minister of Labour and Employment, Shri K. Suresh, Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Shri C.K. Sajid Narayan, President Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, Dr. Jyotsna Suri, Dr. Sarangi, Secretary, Ministry of Labour and Employment, cabinet colleagues, ministers, and representatives of workers and industry. Let me begin by emphasizing that this is a very important conference that deliberates issues of critical importance to our workers and industry, and therefore to our economy and society at large. I feel happy that as Prime Minister, I have participated in all sessions of the Indian Labour Conference that have taken place since 2005, except the one in 2009, which I could not attend due to ill health. As you begin proceedings in this 45th session of the conference, I compliment you on your past achievements and extend my best wishes for your efforts in the future. It is also my hope that this session will build further upon the rich legacy of the earlier sessions. Before I proceed further, let me also state that our government has paid very serious attention to the issues that trade unions have raised from time to time. The recent two-day strike by trade unions focused on a number of issues relating to the welfare not only of the working classes but also the people at large. These include demands on which there can be no disagreement. For example, demands for concrete measures for containing inflation, for generation of employment opportunities, for strict implementation of labor laws are unexceptionable. There can, however, be differences on the best ways of fulfilling these demands, and we are willing to engage constructively with the trade unions in this regard. Some other demands raised by the trade unions are already under an advanced stage of consideration by the government. These include issues like universal social security cover for workers in both the organized and unorganized sectors, and the creation of a national social security fund, fixing a national floor-level minimum wage, and provision of a minimum pension of rupees 1,000 per month under the Employees' Pension Scheme. In fact, the Cabinet has already approved amendments to the Minimum Wages Act 1948 to provide for a statutory national floor-level minimum wage. The third set of demands relates to issues on which further dialogue with trade union leaders appears necessary, including tripartite discussion. We have set up a group of ministers under the finance minister to go into the whole gamut of demands raised by the trade unions, and I am confident that soon we will see some forward movement on these demands. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that many of the demands of the trade unions reflect the concern that our growth and progress should be inclusive and should particularly benefit the underprivileged sections of our society. This is a concern that has been very dear to our government. We believe that providing our people with productive employment opportunities is the best way of achieving this objective. According to some available data, we created 20 million additional job opportunities during the period 2004-5 to 2009-10. The unemployment rate came down from 8.3% to 6.6% during the same period. This period suffered from one of the worst global meltdowns in history, and most of the countries, developed and developing, have registered increase in their unemployment rates while we were still able to create additional jobs. Employment in the organized sector registered a growth of more than 9% from 26.5 million in 2005 to 29 million in 2011. It is heartening to note that women employed in the organized sectors have also registered a growth of about 19% during the same period. Our government has made serious effort in implementing various employment generation programs such as Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, the National Rural Livelihood Mission, Swarn Jayanti Shahri Rozgar Yojana, and Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program. There has been an increase in allocations for these schemes over the years, which have provided employment opportunities to a large number of men and women, particularly persons belonging to scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act has been particularly helpful in reducing interstate migration of labor, eliminating bonded labor, and raising the purchasing power of rural households. Women participation under this scheme has been more than 48%. It is also heartening to note that rural women are increasingly going for self-employment opportunities in ever-increasing numbers. Out of a total of 44.32 lakh self-help groups in our country, 30.21 lakhs are exclusively for women, which accounts for more than 68%. We propose to continue this effort in future as well. Clearly, skill development is crucial to our efforts for providing decent employment opportunities to our large and growing young population. A skilled workforce is also a prerequisite for the achievement of our objective of rapid and inclusive growth. Therefore, we have laid special emphasis on skill development. Our aim is to skill 5 crore people by the end of the 12th five-year plan. This will not only help in generating good quality employment, but will also provide industry with the skilled workforce they need to expand and modernize their operation. During the last 5 years, the number of industrial training institutes in the country has doubled from about 5,000 to about 10,000. About 1,700 government ITIs have been modernized. Another 3,000 ITIs, 5,000 skill development centers, and 27 advanced training institutes are proposed to be set up during the 12th five-year plan 2012 to 2017. The modular employable skills program of the Ministry of Labor and Employment provides short duration courses to prospective trainees using both government and private infrastructure. It is an attempt towards increasing employment in the unorganized sector at a rapid pace. In order to achieve our ambitious targets, the skilling efforts of both the central and the state governments need to be supplemented by the private sector. Furthermore, skills need to be closely matched with emerging job requirements. This calls for setting up of national standards for skill formation, benchmarked to global standards, development of appropriate curriculum designed for specific skills, and formation of new assessment and certifying bodies besides strengthening the existing ones. The National Skill Development Corporation has been established for promoting private sector efforts in the area of skill development. In addition, the government has recently taken the decision to set up the National Skill Development Agency to anchor and operationalize the National Skills Qualifications Framework, which should play a vital role in transforming the quality of training in our country. The National Skill Development Agency will also endeavor to bridge the social, regional, gender, and economic divides in processes of skill development. I have no doubt that with active participation of industry, the trade unions, and the government, we will be able to achieve more effective outcomes in improving the employability of our youth and thus pave the way for generating decent employment opportunities for them commensurate with their rising aspirations. This is the task to which I commit our government. Ever since the UPA government came to power in 2004, we have endeavored to work for the welfare of workers. When I look back at what I have said when I addressed the 40th session of this conference in 2005, I feel a sense of satisfaction that we have delivered substantially on the promises we had made at that time. I had at that time spoken about the need for a new deal to the working people, the need for ensuring the welfare and well-being of all workers, particularly those in the unorganized sector, and the legislation that was under consideration in this regard. I am happy that we have achieved good results in these areas, though I would be the first one to recognize that there is much that still needs to be done. We launched the Rashtriya Swasth Bima Yojana in 2008 to provide for smart card-based hospitalization facilities for workers in the unorganized sector. We have been expanding the reach of the Rashtriya Swasth Bima Yojana to cover larger number of workers in the informal sector. Under this scheme, 3.41 crore smart cards have been issued so far. The Rashtriya Swasth Bima Yojana now covers additional categories of workers, including construction workers, street vendors, domestic workers, and even beneficiaries of the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program. Our government enacted the Unorganized Workers Social Security Act 2008 for the benefit of workers in the informal sector. We have increased the eligibility limit under the Payment of Bonus Act 1965 from rupees 3,500 per month to rupees 10,000 per month. The medical bonus payable under the Maternity Benefit Act of 1961 has also been enhanced. We have also enhanced the period of unemployment allowance to retrenched workers from 6 months to 1 year under the Rajiv Gandhi Shramik Kalyan Yojana. The national policy on safety, health, and environment, and the national policy on HIV and AIDS in the world of work were put in place in the year 2009. We have taken proactive steps for elimination of child labor. Our government has taken a decision to amend the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986 to ban all child labor below 14 years to enable our children to exercise their right to education. I am happy that the number of children working as laborers in our country has decreased by 45% from 90.75 lakhs in 2004-05 to 49.84 lakhs in the year 2009-10. We now need to ensure that this is brought down further. A number of bills have been introduced for amending acts such as the labor laws, exemption from furnishing return, and maintaining registers by Certain Establishment Act 1988, the Mines Act 1952, and the Interstate Migrant Workers Regulation of Employment and Condition of Service Act 1979. Besides, a number of amendments in labor laws are at various stages of consideration. The Employees State Insurance Corporation Act was amended in the year 2010 to cover factories employing 10 or more workers instead of the earlier threshold of 20. The wage ceiling for coverage of employees has been enhanced from Rs 10,000 to Rs 15,000 per month. The number of establishments covered has increased to 5.8 lakh till the end of 2011-12 from 3.94 lakhs in the year 2008-9. 27 ESIC hospitals are being modernized and 4 have already been upgraded. 5 new ESIC hospitals were commissioned in 2011-12. Insured persons are now being issued smart cards and super specialty treatment facilities have been extended to them. The ESEC organization has undertaken a massive computerization project for more effective delivery of benefits to the insured person. Modernization initiatives in the Employees Provident Fund organization have resulted in 25% increase in the settlement of claims as compared to the previous year. The status of all Provident Fund accounts is now available online along with SMS alerts for important account information. Payment is now possible through National Electronic Fund Transfer. There are certain vulnerable groups of workers that need our special attention. I would urge this conference to focus particularly on the well-being and welfare of migrant workers, domestic workers, and those working in unsafe conditions. These groups not only need special legislative support, but also a more effective implementation of the existing laws that have been made for their protection and well-being. We need to bring in the best international practices for bringing about improvements in their working condition. Ladies and gentlemen, the Government of India, industry and trade unions, and the state governments need to work in partnership to strengthen our society, our economy, and our country. I would like to take today's opportunity to reaffirm our government's firm commitment to building such a partnership. We are all aware that our economy is going through difficult circumstances and our growth is not what we would like it to be. even as the government works for reversing this situation, and I am confident we can do so and we will do it, we need the cooperation of both captains of industry and our trade unions. In the recent months, we have taken a number of steps to boost investment, encourage enterprise, and improve business sentiments. We have paid special attention to the need for removing bottlenecks that hamper new industrial activities. I would urge you all, captains of industry and trade union leaders, to help us in making a success of these efforts. With these words, I wish your deliberations all success.